For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. It is Oscar weekend. We're checking in with our friends at E! News to get the latest from Hollywood.
Airfares go up and down more than planes themselves. Pricearazzi.travel has you covered when flight prices change on Expedia.com. If the prices drop, you'll be sure to know about it. There's already so much to remember when you travel, and you shouldn't have to worry about paying more than you needed to on your flights. Let Pricearazzi.travel keep an eye on that for you. Your biggest concern should be if you've packed enough money to buy all the trinkets you really don't need, or if your swimsuit shows off enough skin in all the right places, or that while you are away, the kids have enough food in the kennel and that the dogs get to school on time. Wait, flip those last two. Simply register your email address with Pricearazzi.travel and then book your flights on Expedia.com. Your itineraries are automatically sent to Pricearazzi, and you could do your happy dance if the flight becomes cheaper in 24 hours. Better yet, you could actually end up flying for free. And who doesn't love free, right? Find out how to save on your Expedia flights at Pricearazzi.travel. Avoid bank account turbulence and sign up now at Pricearazzi.travel.
The countdown to the Oscars is on. The statuettes handed out Sunday night on ABC, but of course before that we're going to be watching E! And we check in with our friends at E! News to get the inside scoop on Hollywood's biggest night. Mark Malkin is joining us to talk about the nominees and the snubs and surprises, and I like having him make a few predictions as well. Hey, Mark.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I am good, ready for Sunday.
I'd say this is like Christmas for you, isn't it?
Literally, that's what I was saying today. It really is like Christmas. I mean, the big joke in Hollywood is that there are 5 seasons: fall, winter, spring, summer, and award season. And this is Christmas. Like one night, this is Santa Claus, everything happening.
What was the biggest surprise for you this year in terms of whether it's a nomination or even a snub?
You know, the big surprise this year is La La Land. Everyone loves this movie, but no one ever thought that a musical could go as far as it has with 14 nominations. And this is a movie that first premiered back in September. We've been talking and loving this movie since September, and a lot of people are like, there's no way a movie musical is going to make it. And, you know, it's the highest grossing Oscar movie this year.
Now, we hear about when there's a movie or a film picks up a lot of Golden Globes, that could be, you know, an idea of what's happening at the Oscars then. So do you see that happening then?
Yes. You know, one thing everyone needs to keep in mind, though, with the Golden Globes are voted on by about 85 people. They're foreign press journalists. Yeah. So when the Academy Awards comes around, it's really a different pool. So you can't really say, oh, the Golden Globes voted for this, they're definitely going to vote for that. It's really different voters. And also there's some time after the Golden Globes are handed out, you know, people really start, you know, hunkering down and seeing every single movie that they need to see. So I wouldn't definitely look at the Golden Globes as a precursor to what will happen at the Oscars, because I know we say it every year, but anything could happen.
Right. Now, some surprises, it seems. Hacksaw Ridge, 6 nominations. We'll talk about Mel Gibson in just a second, but this one's up for Best Picture, lead actor, right, Andrew Garfield, and then for director as well for Gibson. Is it worth 6 nominations, would you think?
You know, it is a powerful, it's great movie telling, it's great storytelling. It's a story that I can't believe hasn't been told yet. If it has been told, it hasn't been told in this form. You know, Andrew Garfield is absolutely outstanding. And again, you know, this is a Mel Gibson movie. You know, why is this the one that's making, Mel Gibson have his comeback? Because it's a really great movie. It's a powerful movie. I know a lot of people didn't want to see the movie because of Mel Gibson and, their hard feelings about him. Mm-hmm. But then they see the movie and they're like, you know what? It's a great movie.
Beating out, though, or I mean, if you can really beat out other people for nominations, Martin Scorsese and Clint Eastwood.
Listen, Martin Scorsese, you would think, hey, it's Martin Scorsese, whatever he does is going to get nominated. But Silence, I actually loved Silence. A lot of people had a hard time with it. It's a long movie. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's dealing with religion. It's dealing with, a time in Japan way before the present time. So it's one of those movies that, it's a hard sell. It is Martin Scorsese. And even if you're Martin Scorsese, it doesn't always mean you're going to get a nomination.
Let's talk about Sully then, because again, so Clint Eastwood, but we also had Tom Hanks not necessarily getting the recognition that a lot of people thought he deserves.
Right, and I think one of the things what happens with someone like a Tom Hanks is people say, oh, it's Tom Hanks. He's definitely going to get nominated because he's Tom Hanks. Right. But there were a lot of great actors this year. So this wasn't Tom Hanks' year. If he did get nominated, it's not like we would be surprised. Him not getting nominated, to me, it wasn't that surprising, to be honest with you.
Who do you see taking lead actor then?
I think lead actor at this point right now is between Casey Affleck and Denzel Washington. I think it's going to end up going to Casey, but as we know, Casey does have, a controversial past with, allegations of sexual harassment. Everyone loves Denzel. I mean, he's the kind of guy, like, no matter who you are, you love Denzel Washington. But I think Casey's going to, he's going to be slipping in there and taking that Oscar.
Let's swing over to lead actress, of course, Donald Trump's favorite, Meryl Streep. She's in there for Florence Foster Jenkins.
So overrated.
But this is one of those things, right? Like you were saying, you hear the name, oh, it's Meryl, she's going to take it. But a lot of people are saying that this wasn't her best performance.
I don't think this was her best performance. It was a fun performance. It was a quirky movie. It was a quirky performance. It's, the kind of character that, Meryl Streep could probably play with her eyes closed. But I think this is Emma Stone's year. This is, Emma Stone has been working hard since September promoting this movie. Everyone loves Emma Stone. Everyone kind of really loves this movie. However, I do think there is a chance that Isabelle Huppert can sneak in there. There's a possibility she could sneak in there and take it away from Emma, even though going into award season, really what we saw was Emma Stone versus Natalie Portman. But Natalie's shine has sort of dimmed a bit.
No Ruth Negga on the radar for you?
Listen, I love Ruth Negga, and I actually loved Loving. I know a lot of people just sounded way too quiet. I keep describing it as a beautiful, quiet movie, but a lot of people it was just too quiet. There wasn't that much dialogue. Ruth never had that big Oscar monologue, that big Oscar speech in the movie, so I think that's where she sort of loses out. It's a fantastic performance, and I think some people are actually a little surprised that she got a Best Actress nomination.
Amy Adams not in there for Arrival. What do you think of that?
That was surprising, because Arrival, everyone you talk to loves this movie. It wasn't my favorite movie of the year. I had some problems with it, but Amy Adams gave one of those performances that are just once-in-a-lifetime performances. But again, this year, you see a lot of competition in the Best Actor and the Best Actress field.
Some people are saying Annette Bening, Taraji P. Henson should have made the cut in acting categories.
Yeah. Annette Bening, she just didn't get that traction that everyone thought this movie was going to get. Then you have Taraji P. Henson. You look at Hidden Figures, which is this love movie. It picked up Best Ensemble at the SAG Awards. Octavia Spencer keeps getting nominated. Why not Taraji? People are a little confused by that.
Make a prediction. Are there going to be any Hidden Fences references on Sunday?
I think there will be Hidden Fences references on Sunday. I think there will be Hidden Trump references on Sunday. I think there's going to be a lot of overrated Meryl Streep references.
Yes.
This is a good year for a lot of references.
Will it be a good year or good night even for Justin Timberlake? He's going to add to his collection potentially. He's got Grammys and Emmys already, right? So could this be his year for an Oscar, do you think?
It could be. I don't think it is. This is where it gets a little tough with Best Song because you have two La La Land songs that are nominated. So a lot of people say, oh, that's going to split the vote and it's going to go to Justin. It's a great song. It's an infectious song. I think his performance is going to be amazing. You know, it's Justin Timberlake. Everyone does love him, so it would be great to see him walk away with an Oscar, and then he's on his way to being an EGOT.
Yes, and I was just told that we didn't. The song is "Can't Stop the Feeling" from Trolls. We should, I guess, get everybody up to speed if people don't know which one.
If you don't know, and I actually love Trolls. I thought it was such a fun movie, such a sweet movie, and the song obviously was one of those anthems of the summer.
Let's get animated for a second. Much was made about Finding Dory. It grossed, wasn't it $1 billion at the box office? Is that true?
Yeah, it's crazy that didn't make the list, but then. I know this sounds so cliche. I keep saying there's all this tough competition, but you have something like Zootopia. I wanted Sing to be in there. I was surprised that Sing didn't make the list. I thought that was like such a great feel-good movie, but I do think it's Zootopia's year, and they're going to walk away with it.
Not My Life is Zucchini's year? Because that's in... Is it even in theaters? Where is that?
That's the most... The first time I heard that movie, I was like, what is this movie? It sounds like, some kind of vegetable PSA. But I do think it's going to be Zootopia.
Okay, so let's go with some of your predictions. Do you think there'll be a sweep for any film, or what do you see happening?
I mean, I do think it's going to be a sweep for La La Land. I do think you're going to see La La Land walk away. Not all 14, but they're going to walk away with a huge chunk. I think it's going to be a very happy night for fans of movie musicals.
What do you see for upsets?
I think, the upsets could be, like I said, Isabelle Huppert could sneak in there and take it from Emma Stone. I can't imagine what will go through Emma's mind if she doesn't win, when that camera pans to her, and if she's not announced as the winner. That's going to be hard for her to make a big old fake smile and just say, I was happy to be nominated. But I think there is a chance she could sneak in there. And then Viola Davis, I think for sure, is going to win Best Supporting Actress. But maybe, and this is a very small maybe, Michelle Williams could squeak in.
Yes. Okay, so, we've talked about the Golden Globes, other award shows. We mentioned Meryl Streep. I just want your opinion on this, because it seems like we should be celebrating the movie, the performance, whatever it is. What do you think about the actors or the winners using the platform to start, preaching about political things or equality and things like that? Does it have a place?
Does it have a place? Does it belong there? Here, I go back and forth. I'm going to be honest with you. I go back and forth. Yeah. I think, there's a part of me that says, okay, Sunday comes along. I don't want to think about politics.
Right.
Whether you're, liberal, conservative, whatever. Let's just escape and go to the movies.
Right.
That said, the Oscars and award shows in general have always been a place for political commentary. This isn't the first year where people are thinking, okay, I'm going to get political if I'm up on that stage. Then it's, let's say you are that political and you are that, passionate about your beliefs. Well, what better stage is there than the Oscars to say what you feel?
True. And like I was saying about the Grammys is, what, if we just kept the speeches to a short amount of time, the show could actually run on time then, no?
Yeah, listen, the Oscars never run on time. No. They're going to run late. And, going back, to the politics of it all, remember, it's not like Donald Trump is a Hollywood outsider.
Right.
This is a guy who got famous on reality television. So he is connected to Hollywood, and Hollywood has their opinions about him.
Yes. So we're going to be watching the Oscars on ABC. But before that, you know what we're going to be watching before the Oscars, right?
I would hope you're going to be watching E and at E Online, because we are going to have it covered like crazy.
Yes, so we're going to be watching live from the red carpet, and of course watching the streaming on the E website. Well, Mark, Merry Christmas. I don't know what else to say to you.
Thank you so much. I like that.
Well, happy Oscar weekend. Mark Malkin from E! News, thanks so much for joining us.
Have a good one.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. SpeakFreeWithJB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
So we just talked about the actual awards, but let's talk about the stuff that I think a lot of people watch for, the fashion. Zuri Hall from E! News joining us on the line as we head into Oscar weekend. Hello there, how are you?
I'm good, excited for the Oscars. Thanks for having me.
Well, no, this is sort of like the big finale for award show season, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we work our way up to this with every single award show. As the actors sort of start their campaigns and make their way toward those trophies, this is like the ultimate one. So it's really exciting to see not just who takes the awards, but also how these stars express themselves and how they're feeling through their looks of the night.
Yes, well, Mark was just saying the last segment, this is like Christmas for him. Would you compare it to Christmas almost?
Mark got me beat. I need to for this stuff, and so for sure I can see how this is Christmas for him. I say this is like my Thanksgiving. It's just, I just dive in, I eat too much, so I'm like obsessing over the gowns and the dresses and the choices. But I don't know. What would be my Christmas? Stay tuned for that one. I think Grammys. I just like to have fun. Yeah. So the biggest night in music is probably the one I look the most forward to.
Oh, and I was going to say, this is all Mark has going, so let's be happy for him, okay? Like, this is his... Yes, we do. So, all right, let's talk fashion, because it almost seems like the red carpet broadcast now turns into the same length as some of these award show telecasts. So, I'm a clearance clothing kind of guy. So tell me what goes into the look. Where do you even begin?
Well, a lot of celebrities really think out what they want to express about themselves even before the award season kicks off. And if you have a sense or an idea that you may be nominated or that this may be your season, you really do. You think long and hard, at least a lot of them do, about what sort of style statement they want to make. For example, Janelle Monáe. Traditionally, she's been known as a musician. She's an amazing singer, amazing performer, and her style has sort of been this geometric black and white with a red lip thing. So no matter where you saw her, whether it was on the Grammys, red carpet, or the AMAs, it was always some version of black or white, a lot of androgynous looks, a really nice balance of masculine and feminine. And then this season, we saw her in this totally new light, right? She in Hidden Figures, she's sort of the award season darling, and so she's really showing us a different version of herself. So she's been doing a lot more color. She's been expressing herself in dresses. That's not something that we are used to seeing a lot of her in. And so that's just a really good example of how someone can be like, okay, you saw me as one thing, but now I want you to look at me as another and express that without saying a single word on a red carpet.
Okay. So that was a mouthful, and I've got all these questions that just came to mind. I'm going to put out all the questions so I don't forget them. First one.
Sure, okay.
First one, though, are the designers reaching out to stars or stars reaching out to designers? And then the next part of that is, you mentioned if someone's nominated. Would that make your look different if you're nominated as opposed to just presenting or not nominated?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I will say, just from my own personal opinion, I don't think it weighs that heavily if you are or aren't nominated, the fact that you want to make a statement on the carpet. I will say something that people keep in mind, if you think you're going to win, right, or you think you're going to take home that trophy, it may play a little more into your fashion choice because you're going to get that iconic shot of you standing on a stage with a trophy, and so you want to make sure that whatever that image is that lives on is one that you don't regret making when it comes to fashion choice a year or 2 or 3 years from now.
Right.
Traditionally, on some of the other carpets, you definitely see people who are up and coming or still looking to get that critical or public attention. They tend to make even bigger statements on the carpet because that's their moment to stand out. That's their WTF moment that may go viral the next day. You know, you had the artist on the Grammy red carpet who wore the gown with sort of the nod to Trump. And granted, it was a political statement, but also at the end of the day, even non-political versions of that happen all the time on these carpets because, honestly, that was a big talker the next day, and it's someone who maybe otherwise wouldn't have been talked about. So I do think we see bigger risks when there's less to lose as far as people picking apart your look.
So how does it work then? Is Meryl picking up the phone and saying, hey, Versace, give me a dress? What is the process? Or the designers are clamoring to dress her? How does this go?
Well, you know, honestly, when it comes to Meryl, I think just about everyone would be beating down the door to dress her. When you get to a certain level, it's definitely designers seeing you as someone who represents their brand, and so they're reaching out. They're begging to dress you, especially if they're an up-and-coming designer. You even look at, you know, Michelle Obama during her White House years and how she really shone light on up-and-coming designers who otherwise would not have gotten the attention that they did and really birthed some new designers of our day. When it comes to smaller celebrities, people who are still up and coming, you definitely have your list of people that you'd love to be dressed by. You'd love to be dressed in Louis Vuitton, or you'd love to do Dolce & Gabbana, or whatever it may be. And you sort of have that in the back of your mind, and you set the tone by making these style statements throughout the course of your career, so that once you have that big film or you have that big show that sort of launches you into the next stratosphere of celebrity, you can go to those designers and say, look at what I'm capable of doing. Look at, you know, the way I express myself through fashion. I think it's in line with what you do. I live for your design. What do you think about dressing me? So there's definitely a synergy there. And once you get to the top of the A-list, you know, people are really banging down the door.
Well, there's also the term that we see on Fashion Police, bitch stole my look. So what happens if there's a similar, because it was the Grammys, it was Faith Hill, and then they're going to tell me who else it was. It was Faith Hill and somebody, Carrie Underwood, thank you, that were dressed very similarly. My God, what, do you just try to avoid each other on the carpet? Like, how?
That's about how it goes. I mean, it's always a risk that you run, period. And, you know, people are so focused on getting their clients dressed, you don't have time to, you know, essentially compare notes with what other stylists are doing. And a lot of times these celebrities don't know what they're going to wear until the last second. I've sat down with many a celeb, asked what their looks were going to be for, you know, the show, and they say, you know what, honestly, I haven't chosen. I have 2 dresses that I'm really excited about. I'll probably pick, depending on how I'm feeling, an hour before I walk the carpet. So those are things that you know, you can't plan. You've just got to do your thing, rock it the best that you can, and hope that when the bitch stole my look segment comes up, the votes are headed your way. All of that.
So then the next obvious question is, who has it easier for red carpet fashion, men or women?
Oh, man. I don't want to overgeneralize, but I got to say, you ladies put in a lot of effort. Like, if I had to choose, I would say the women. Obviously, I can only speak as a woman for what my personal process is, and I know a lot of effort tends to go into it because it's something that is exciting and fun for me, like it is for a lot of other celebs on the carpet. But a lot of guys take care in their look too. But listen, every time I talk to the guys and I ask them, you know, how does this look come together, or, you know, what was the thought process behind this? Some of them are really into it, and they want to talk about their suit or, that it was tailor-made. But then a lot of times they're like, you know what? I just decided to go with the blue one instead of the black one, So the women, I think a lot of times we have more to consider. There's the dress, there's the jewelry, there's the heel. Will it be comfortable? Will it not? There's the hair, the makeup. So I think we've got a few more moving parts.
Well, yes, and see, it's not just as simple as black tuxedo, black tuxedo, black tuxedo. But you mentioned the moving parts, and Juliana, we love G. She was talking about the Grammys and the peekaboo thing on the dresses. So we got some moving parts there. See where I'm going with this?
I do. I'm nervous, but I see where you're going.
Is the Oscars more kind of glam, or is it okay to be showing skin like... Is cleavage always in? Is it always a go?
I think cleavage can't always be a go. It's about how you do it, right? There are different versions of showing a little something. There's under boob. You've got side boob.
Right.
You've got peekaboo. I never expected to say boob so many times in one interview, but there are options. The Grammys are traditionally something that you have a lot more fun with.
Right.
That's when, the metallics come out to play, the frill, the color, the high slits, the low necklines. It's sort of like this is your moment to do whatever and just blame it on it's the Grammys. The Oscars tend to be a little more traditional with the looks. Skin is definitely shown. I think skin is always shown on these red carpets.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a little more elegant. I think a lot of celebs tend to skew more timeless or classic with those looks. Grammy is a lot more about trend, where Oscar is something where you want to be on the carpet and sort of have your look transcend that moment, be something that 5 or 10 years from now, people still look back on that. And that was the year so-and-so won that Oscar, and wow, that look is still timeless.
So who are you looking forward to seeing Sunday?
I am looking forward to seeing, personally, Natalie Portman. I really want to see how she dresses the baby bump. She's been looking beautiful all award season long, so that'll be a good one. Also, Naomi Harris. Personally, I was just a fan of her work in Moonlight. I sat down with her at the Oscars luncheon and sort of talked about her getting ready and what that process was like. Even then, she already had her dress picked out. She wouldn't give away any details. But I know that she really likes to make a style statement, and so I'm excited to see what she's going to do, especially because she's not afraid of color. She's not afraid of pastels and floral prints. And so for me, that's exciting, especially on a carpet like the Oscars, where a lot of people could be tempted to play it safe. I know that she's not afraid to take it there. So I'm excited for her. I'm excited for Michelle Williams. I'm willing to bet that she's going to show up in Louis Vuitton. She wears that a lot. But yeah, those are two that I'm really, really sort of looking for on the carpet this Sunday.
I gotta have fun with the final moment here. I want to know who you would say was the worst dressed of award show season this year.
Oh man, that's a tough one. You're gonna try to get me incriminated. Okay. I love him expressing himself. I don't even know if you've seen this yet, but did you see CeeLo's look?
The gold.
The gold on gold
yes.
on gold with like the matching sort of gold mask.
Right.
Sort of gilded head to toe.
Yeah.
I would say that one was a bold statement, and I'm all about a bold statement. Yeah. However, the memes that spawned from that, as hilarious as they were, I don't think did him any favors. So I'll go ahead and say that was my most moment of the award season.
So we're going to be watching E live from the red carpet on Sunday before the Oscars. Is there an after party on E?
Yes, so we are going all day. Everything kicks off at 1:30 Eastern. We've got the countdown show I'll be a part of course, live from the red carpet, and the after party. So I will be live from the Governor's Ball that night, literally as the winners are coming in to pop their champagne. I will be the one stopping them for 10 extra minutes before they go celebrate to get down to how they're feeling and how excited they are about those wins. So we've got you guys covered all day across every platform. E-Online, the E-News app. We have our 360 camera. We've got the E-Glambot, which will be actually on the Oscars red carpet for the first time this year. And it's just these amazing cinematic shots. So, yeah, we've got you guys covered all day, Oscar Sunday.
And then on Monday, E-News and Fashion Police, right?
You bet you. It all kicks off. We've got E-News kicking off at 7 o'clock. And Monday we will be recapping everything that you saw, the things that you didn't see, the back all of the A-listers. Everything that we couldn't get into the live show will definitely be airing on E! News. And, of course, the Fashion Police crew are going to break down the hits and the misses of the big night.
It is our favorite time of the year. Well, I guess I should say happy Thanksgiving to you, Zuri.
And thank you so much. I cannot wait to binge on everything that come my way on Sunday. That sounds terrible, but it's what I did.
It's gonna be delicious. We'll be watching every platform that E has on Sunday and Monday. Thanks so much for joining us, Zuri.
Thank you. Have a good one.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
And speaking of Twitter, I will be live tweeting from Yukon, Canada at the Sourdough Rendezvous Festival all week. Follow along at Jeremy D. Bradley, and live tweeting the Oscars Sunday night as well at Jeremy D. Bradley. I will talk to you same time, same place next week on The Scribble. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,